What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Thing Goes back again for another video. You already know I'm going to be talking about Invincible yet again. And this is some very surprising news. I mean, it's not that surprising. Usually with shows and games, you always get like people who have access to it early, and they get like reviews out a little bit early before the show drops, maybe a couple days or a week or so. But that's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see reviews pop up. Now, this is an official IGN review. Now, this is a written review. I'm pretty sure they got a video too. But this is just covering the first 3 episodes, and I wanted to read through this article with you guys. It's very interesting. I haven't read it yet, but just going by like the little tagline, you know what I'm saying, that he put right after the title of the article, it just kind of makes you wonder like, okay, what this guy got to talk about, because it doesn't seem like it's all good. So let's check it out, man. If you got a blunt, you already know what to do. And the article is called Invincible Season 1 Premiere Review. Amazon Prime's Video's new adult animated superhero series proves to be Invincible. You see what I'm saying? By that little, you know what I'm saying, tagline that they got underneath the title of the article kind of makes you think like, okay, what exactly is wrong? Like, let's see what this guy got to say. This was written March 19th at 9:50 by Siddhant Adlakha. Ooh, man, that's a hard name right there. Sorry to mispronounce it, bro, if you're seeing this video. This is a spoiler-free review for Invincible episodes 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so it is spoiler-free, but still, he might say something that's a little spoilery here or there. I know I'm probably going to be digging a little deeper into this stuff on just speculation, so heads up, might be some spoilers in this video. But anyway, it's a spoiler review for episodes 1, 2, and 3, which hit Amazon Prime Video on March 26th. The remaining 5 episodes will be released weekly after that. Based on the early 2000s Image comic by Cory Walker and Robert Kirkman, creator of The Walking Dead, Amazon Prime's Invincible demonstrates the potential to hook audiences with its mystery plot, especially if its 4th episode strikes a chord in week 2. But in a market saturated by cape stories and dominated by shared universes, the animated adaptation seems to take a backward approach to its material. Where the comic is incisive genre satire, the show plays its story and ideas completely straight and with an unironic penchant for grim ultraviolence, which doesn't always work given its otherwise kid-friendly presentation. Okay, so it seems like pretty much what he said is like, while the comic knows what it is and pretty much just wears that shit on its sleeve, like being kind of like an obvious, like he said, satire, kind of just like they're like he's poking, like Robert Kirkman was poking fun at a lot of trends or a lot of story beats, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things that are commonplace in stories like that. What do they call that? Expectations. And he turned them around, he flipped them, he kind of like threw his own spin on it. And what I felt like was so cool about the comic book was that it had everything it needed to be a superhero comic, but the way that he told it made it seem like he was doing it in the best way possible. You know what I'm saying? Like he just took gloves off, and it wasn't just the violence, it was just the way that he presented the talk scenes, how the characters interacted with each other and all that stuff. It just felt so natural, you know what I mean? And in a way, it felt like if all this stuff, you know, powers, space travel, other dimensions, you know what I'm saying, Viltrumites and all that shit, if it actually existed, this is the only way it could actually exist. And it's probably the most realistic take we could have on it, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, that's what the comic book kind of feel like. And it feel like what he's saying in this review here is that the show, it kind of takes those ideas a little bit too seriously. Like it isn't as you know what I'm saying, it doesn't poke fun at as much at the stuff that you know what I'm saying, the comic obviously poked fun at. Like it seems like it's trying to take it a little bit more seriously, which kind of takes away from why Invincible was so great in the first place. And also he's saying like in a world that's like oversaturated with all this superhero stuff anyway, it just seems like, wait, actually no, I take that back. In a world that's saturated with all that superhero stuff, he said that it's cool how it kind of takes a back seat how all that superhero stuff that you would normally get used to seeing takes a back seat in the story of Invincible. That's what he's saying. Sorry, I didn't want to misinterpret his review. At least that's what I think he's saying. But the point is, bro, it looked like he's saying right here that the violence, you know what I'm saying, the way that the show is presented kind of seems like it's more kid friendly, or maybe not even kid friendly, but just not as violent as it certainly can get. And he's saying like maybe it doesn't always like mesh well together, like it doesn't always, you know what I'm saying, work to have that much intense violence with the way that the show is otherwise presented as something that wouldn't even have that much violence at all, you know what I'm saying, or that level of violence, you know what I'm saying. And I think that's what made Invincible so cool, in my opinion, bro. Like, that's what took me off guard. That's what make me fuck with it. Because when you read the comic, bro, you do not, like, I don't know who, like, read the comic, who thought that it was going to be that violent when they first read it, like, if they know going in. But I know for myself, for damn sure, I had no idea that Invincible was going to be that violent going into that comic book series. It did not present itself in a way that it was just going to be that raw. Now, I know Robert Kirkman already, you know what I'm saying? And I know what he did with The Walking Dead, so I kind of like it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I kind of expected some savage shit to just come out of nowhere. But, yeah, it still surprised me. I was still kind of taken back by how raw that shit was, because it wasn't presented like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's one of the highlights of Invincible. It shouldn't be looked at as a con. But anyway, let's continue with the article. The story follows Mark Grayson, Stephen Ewan, a high schooler living in the shadow of his father, also known as the world's greatest superhero, Omni-Man, J.K. Simmons. Superheroes are a dime a dozen in this universe, so when Mark's own flight and super strength powers finally begin to manifest, he enters a world of responsibilities, expectations, and complicated friendships. It's a distinctly Spider-Man-esque story, along many other nods to famous heroes. Like I said before, if you want to get two heroes to, you know what I'm saying, to put together in a combination as the best way to describe quickly to somebody who doesn't know about all this stuff what Invincible is like, all you got to do is say Invincible is pretty much a combination of Spider-Man and Superman. That's the best way I can say it right there. With a little bit of Dragon Ball Z sprinkled in, if I'm being honest with you, which kind of like how the origin is and stuff. But I don't know, maybe that's stretching it a little bit too far. But anyway, Mark even shares a last name with comics' most famous sidekick, Dick Grayson, Batman's first Robin. An Invincible superpowered landscape is littered with characters practically traced from the designs of the Justice League. These intentional Marvel and DC evocations make it easy to introduce new characters in a world that feels familiar even though it isn't. Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons took this approach for the Watchmen comic in 1986. Moore's original plan was to use DC's recently acquired Charles Comics catalog. An Amazon Prime Video's adaptation of The Boys plays on familiar iconography as well. I hope I said that word right. However, where both aforementioned stories differ from Invincible is that their use of graphic violence in a largely kid-friendly genre is clear and pointed. Watchmen aims at grounded deconstruction. The Boys is often bleakly comedic. Invincible, on the other hand, doesn't yet know what to do with the copious blood and guts. The bright colors, which take their cue from Cory Walker and Ryan Otley's vibrant artwork, certainly makes for a jarring contrast, but the story traps itself within the bounds of the familiarity at every turn, leaning on existing superhero tropes and archetypes in ways that rarely subvert or comment on them. Its characters don't exist outside these boxes until a small handful of moments inside episode 3. For a show filled with fantastic powers and vivid costumes, it's surprisingly drab. On the plus side, the premiere episode borrows an interesting hook from the comic's second volume, which reframes Invincible as a mystery show. The action scenes are lively, coherent, and occasionally inventive, but they also pose their own problem for how the plot unfolds. In one scene, Invincible grounds its superpowered carnage in a perspective of a normal security guard who just moments earlier had been lamenting his broken relationship with his son. It seems at first like the show might take an approach similar to an equally bloody animated Harley Quinn series and deflate this self-seriousness. However, once the over-the-top mayhem ensues, the melodrama is pushed as far as possible without winking, all while being couched in animated gore. It's a fine line to walk, and the show seems to hope the drama will set the tone for the action, even though the result is often the opposite. Invincible knows exactly how serious it's taking itself, but lampshading its tone doesn't make this disconnect any less pronounced. At the end of the day, it's still rife with flashy cartoon violence as opposed to, say, animated horror rooted in agony and nightmarish imagery, so it's hard to make it feel any less silly than itchy and scratchy, no matter how dramatic the framing. Damn. And this is the quote they highlighted. For a show filled with fantastical powers and vivid costumes, Invincible is surprisingly drab. Fuck, bro. Omni-Man, a mustached Superman send-up, forms a major centerpiece of the plot. Simmons is a proven comedic and dramatic talent. He's legendarily silly as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man, but downright terrifying in Whiplash. But his Omni-Man, aka Nolan Grayson, is oddly monotone, so his talents feel misused. This seems like the show's attempt at gravitas. It often stops to focus on Nolan's stern, imposing stare, but it leaves little room to peel back any layers to this alien character. At least in the comics, he felt like a livelier, more complete person, which only made things more complicated the more you learned about him. This stagnant approach affects the title character too. Mark adopts the name Invincible when he begins fighting crime. He stands up to bullies at school and crushes on pretty girl, but he feels like he's going through the motions of a standard coming-of-age story rather than carving a unique path within a familiar genre. Damn. Now see, that's one thing I wanted to talk about real quick. Because that's the exact opposite way that I feel like Invincible should be presented. In the comic book, I felt like that's always what happened. I felt like in the comic book, that's what made me love it so much. It was a unique take on familiar tropes. That's the word I was looking for. Tropes, like things that you would expect to happen, coming of age stories, stuff like that, like stuff that you would expect to happen. It was done in its own way. Like, yes, it would have like things that maybe you would expect to happen, but if I'm being honest, Invincible had a lot of stuff you didn't expect to happen too, man. Like really all the time. It seemed like almost every time something that you expected would happen, it might still happen, but not in the way that you was expecting it to happen at all. And that's the thing that I loved about Invincible. It always had like a way to give you what you wanted, but not in the way that you were sure that you wanted it. You know what I'm saying? And I love Invincible for that. Like it introduces you to something that you don't know that you even gonna like, and then you end up liking the shit. And you're just like, damn, bro, I don't see how they could have did that any other way, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's dope. But from what he's saying in this review, it doesn't seem like the Invincible animated series is leaning heavily into its greatest strength. It doesn't seem like it's trying to utilize its greatest strength, but I don't know. This is just how this one guy's interpreting it and writing his review. We have to wait until it actually drops for us to watch it ourselves and give our own thoughts on it. Because I'm really curious now. With him saying all this, I'm extremely curious. I really cannot wait for this show to drop so I can dissect it, really look into it, and see what he is talking about. Because it's kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary, bro. Dude is presenting this review in a very professional, well-written way. Seem like bro know what he talking about. I don't know if he a fan of the comic or not, but he at least knows the basic structure of how stories are supposed to be presented is what I'm gaining from this article and from this review. And yeah, bro, like I said, man, it's kind of... I gotta wait till I watch it myself, bro. Because I was literally gonna say, so I ain't gonna lie, I was gonna say, like, don't trust IGN reviews. I really don't trust IGN, like, at all with nothing. Honestly, if it wasn't for Invincible and the fact that, you know what I'm saying, I love it and I'm trying to review, like, report all news on it and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't even be making this video, bro. Like, I don't even fuck with IGN no more. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? But as a guy that's writing a review, this dude right here, his name, let me go back to the top, man. What's your name, bro? Said hot. Adlaka, bruh, this dude he killing it right now. Like, I don't know about his credibility. I don't know what he got going on. IGN, whatever, bruh. The guy, he know how to write a review. I give him that, bro. And he just got me thinking. He got me wondering, man. like what's going on? You know what I'm saying? All right, man. So let's go on back on to the review, bro. Let me light this real quick. Hold on. In terms of personality, you could easily switch him out for any of the other teen characters on the show. Ewing, like Simmons, is a tremendous performer. His work in Minari recently earned him an Oscar nomination, which I also talked about in my previous video. Link will be in the description. But he's offered little but way of humor or frustration or anything that might make him feel like a real teenager burdened by expectations. The show has an all-star voice cast from Mark Hamill to Seth Rogen to Walton Goggins, but you wouldn't know it given how seldom they're allowed to express themselves and imbue their characters with life or perspective. Damn, that's crazy, bro. What character? Hold on. Let's just keep going out. One character who gets something of an upgrade from the comics is Mark's mother, Deborah Sandra Oh, who's more assertive and doesn't feel nearly as passive as her comic counterpart, which I also noticed from the trailers that I mentioned a couple of times, but I thought they was going to carry this same detail or, little minor changes or, what I'm saying, more character development to all the characters, not just Debbie. Even though that passivity ends up working on the page, given how the comic eventually explores her emotional layers, which is also true. But of course, the show is not a comic, for better or for worse, and taken at face value, its approach to framing Debbie as a strong-headed woman has unintended side effects. She holds her own in arguments, but these often take a form of domestic conflict where Mark and Nolan are downright nasty to her. That's a dynamic the show brushes off as soon as it's introduced. Fuck. In spite of these tonal oddities, the overarching plot is, at the very least, intriguing. In-depth descriptions are best left for once the show has been released, but suffice it to say, it's anchored by a character-centric mystery, not so much a whodunit, but why, which in the comic makes for a fascinating subversion of superhero tropes. Whether the show does this story justice remains to be seen, but episode 1, 2, and 3 are promising, even if the characters feel half-baked. Love that movie. A major hurdle to developing Mark and his family and his high school friends, primarily Mark's schoolmates Amber, Zazie Beetz, and fellow superhero Adam Eve, Jillian Jacobs, is unfortunate. Fortunately, the animation itself, the designs invoke a range of influences from anime to DC cartoons. One alien character even feels plucked from Futurama, but the leads are talking about Alan Alien, but the leads are rarely expressive beyond mild annoyances and exaggerations, leaving the actors with most of the heavy lifting in the more nuanced and intimate scenes. The show's editing doesn't do much to fix this problem. Shots simply linger on blank expressions, augmented by little more than a bare bones dramatic score, and conversations soon fall into the pattern of line, pause, and so on. The scenes rarely have rhythm or whimsy. There are mild exceptions along the way, like Jason Mantzoukas as the wisecracking teenage hero Rexplode. I love Rexplode. Can't wait to see how he's portrayed. Mark's teammate and aptly named Teen Team, created in the vein of Marvel's Young Avengers or DC's Teen Titans, but his antics are the only time the show feels truly energetic outside of its action scenes. Damn, that's crazy. The interpretation is much more diverse than the comic, but change doesn't offer much in terms of substance to the show. Rex is now a person of color. Mark and his mother, who are voiced by Asian actors, are Asian. Hold on a sec. Hold on. Hello? It's a scam. Anyway, let me get back to the review. Sorry about that. Mark and his mother, who are voiced by Asian actors, are Asian, and several supporting characters have been bent along the lines of race and sexual orientation, so the story isn't wholly straight and white like the comic was. But none of the initial 3 episodes, which run nearly an hour, seem to do much with the characters' new identities. The fumbling of this change is indicative of Invincible's lack of depth across the board. Damn. Whew. This guy's he keeping it. He brutal, bro. He keeping it real. He keeping it real. I like this though. I like this, man. He giving us a real heat to work with. Invincible wants to be deadly serious about colorful superheroes that are usually handled with more self-aware comedy tone, but it has so little to say about its own approach or the material it draws upon that it ends up somewhere in the middle. Okay, so it's pretty much saying Invincible wants to be deadly serious about colorful superheroes that are usually handled with more self-aware comedy tone, but it has so little to say about its own approach or the material it draws upon that it ends up somewhere in the middle. It's not a dud by any stretch. The action scenes occasionally skew towards exciting, and the mystery feels like it's approaching a challenging reveal for the Graysons, but thus far the show is mostly texture and the furthest thing from poignant or unique. Damn, okay. With its straight-faced take on the satirical comic, the first 3 episodes of Invincible make for a grim introduction. The show insists on framing its absurd ultra-violence completely seriously, and its characters aren't developed enough to fill the enormous gap between approach and appearance. However, its central mystery offers enough questions and enough promise to keep viewers watching, at least for a week or 2. Ooh, he gave it a 6. And overall, the comment that he attached to it was okay. Invincible is not a dud by any stretch, but episodes 1, 2, and 3 are mostly texture and the furthest thing from poignant or unique. All right. All right, man. So my thoughts on this review, man. So pretty much, if I was to sum it up in my own words, he's saying that Invincible, it's not bad, but it has no right to not be better. Like like he expected it to be way better is what I'm getting at, and it should be way better given the source material. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like he's saying that it needs to find a balance between how it presents its story and its characters with also the violence that it displays in the action scenes. Like maybe it might seem like it doesn't go together as good as it does in the comic book. You know what I'm saying? Like in the comic book it's shocking, but overall it becomes the identity of Invincible. It becomes like what makes it so, you know what I'm saying, unique in my opinion. Like the action just being so just violent and random and just damn, you know what I'm saying? Like and eventually it becomes real. You know what I'm saying? It becomes like a part of it. Like you feel like, yeah, bro, this how shit should be. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully the action has that effect on people with the show too, where it's kind of like a slow burn. Because I feel like this series is definitely going to be one of those shows that might start out like, okay, where is it going? But then just get better and better as it goes. Like it is going to have a shift, because that's how it happened with the comic, bro. Let's be real, right? So anybody who read the comic at the beginning and started the series, they was like, okay, this is cool. This is okay. The art is pretty cool. The stories are all right. You know what I'm saying? This is some okay world building. Woody woo. But it wasn't just anything just amazing, right? It was just kind of like, okay, just like this show, right? You was just reading, you're like, okay, cool, what is going? And then the twist happened, right? And that's when you just like, what? Whoa, shit! You know what I'm saying? You just like, oh, what? Hold up, you know, you know what I'm saying? And you just keep going, and then it just gets better and better and better from there. So I feel like maybe the show is trying to capture that same feeling, you know what I'm saying, that the comic did, and hopefully it'll have that same effect. I really wanted to get better and better as it goes along. Now, like I said, this is just one guy's perspective and review. He might not have the same opinion or perspective on it that a guy like me has, that is a mega fan of it, or, you know, somebody like you or something like that. So we're still going to watch it for ourselves, give our own thoughts and stuff like that. But I really did enjoy this review. I like stuff like this. It gave a lot of insight without even really spoiling anything, and it does give you a lot to speculate on and kind of consider when going into it yourself. So I really enjoyed this review, man. And really, man, just keep your guard up, y'all. we got some shit to look forward to, man. We got some shit to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? Now, another thing he said in there was did I notice was he said the changes to the characters, like Mark and his mother being Asian, who, you know what I'm saying, who are voiced by Asian actors, and also Zazie Beetz, who voices Amber, you know, has also been race swapped. William being turned just gay straight from the start. He pointed out these changes, but he also acknowledges that they don't really do much with these changes at all. Like it just seems like it's surface level. Like they just did it just to do it, but they haven't really, you know what I'm saying, done anything with these changes. Like, and I do agree that if you are going to change stuff from the source material, you at least need to have some reason to do it other than just doing it just to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't trip off of it as much as others might, you know what I'm saying? If the material that you have there is still quality and it doesn't really change too much from the overall narrative, then I'm not just going to be a stickler in the mud and just bitch about the shit all the time, you know what I'm saying? But in my personal opinion, I feel like if you are going to change a character's sex or race or, you know what I'm saying, anything like that just to do it, you need to at least try to use it narratively, or try to, you know what I'm saying, expand on it, do a little bit something more with it, you know, let it have some kind of meaning other than just saying, bam, we checked that box, we took care of it, we did it, you know what I mean? Because it just feels like it's like, you know, why, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I hate that, and I don't want to think that when I'm watching it, you know what I'm saying? So it sucks that's the case, but once again, like I said, his opinion, I might notice some things that he didn't, or it could just be like that for now, and maybe they'll do something else with it later on in the show, you know what I'm saying? So you never know. But yeah, what he pretty much has said, not just about the characters and the changes and the race swap, but just the designs overall. He was talking about the designs, how they're colorful and bright, how they have similarities to DC and Marvel characters, while although good, they don't really do that much with them as far as like the expressions and stuff like that, really making the actors' performances come alive through the animations. He said a lot of the talk scenes can be very still and simple, talk, pause, etc. Like there's no really, it's kind of like they're playing it super safe, stuff like that. And he says stuff like how the actors that they have an all-star cast, which they do, but you wouldn't even really be able to tell that they are an all-star cast or what they do, because the show doesn't properly use their talents yet. So you know what I'm saying, hopefully that's something that they expand upon and fix in future episodes as well. I may enjoy their performances when I watch it myself, so I don't know, but that's a shame. That's unfortunate if that is the case. But with so much more story to be told, and you know what I'm saying, everything to look forward to in the series, depending on how they choose to adapt it, I hope they do it right. These actors are going to get way more chances to display their range and what they can do and stuff like that. So I'm still looking forward to it either way. These are just the first 3 episodes, guys. There's an 8-episode first season of this series. Each episode lasts for an hour. Hopefully they bring it for the last remaining episodes. He hints at this reveal that's probably going to happen in episode 4 that could probably get the ball rolling even faster. I feel like this series is definitely going to be just a slow burn. It might be entertaining for you guys because they said that the first 3 episodes, well, he said that the first 3 episodes does have some good action scenes and stuff like that. And I already know that Invincible fans are probably going to enjoy this a whole lot more than your average watcher. You know what I mean? So we're probably going to enjoy it either way, but it just sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to just get up in there and just go fast. Just like, don't play no games. Just zoom. But at the same time, with that description and example that I gave with how the comic book started, I feel like it's pretty much the same thing with the show. And it's definitely going to get better as it goes along. So we're gonna have to reconvene and check out some more reviews, man. You know what I'm saying? When the future episodes come out. But you already know I'm gonna be dropping my own reviews, bro. Like, fuck what these other niggas talking about, bro. I ain't gonna really be sitting here just reading other people's reviews all the time. Only reason why I wanted to highlight this one, which was an amazing review that I want to highlight one more time, bro, is because the show ain't even out yet, and you know what I'm saying? It's just amazing to speculate on news as we leading up to it. You know what I'm saying? saying, being as excited as I am and everything. It's real cool. So tell me what you guys think about this review. What do you think about what this guy said? Are you still excited for the show? Do you know what I'm saying, care about anything that this dude said? You don't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like just let me know y'all thoughts, man. Hit that like button, hit the dislike button, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for more videos like this one, bro. I was talking so much and like really so focused on the review, I ain't even hit the weed as much as I wanted to, man. But I'm gonna hit it one more time for y'all before y'all slide, bro. You already know, share this video around, man. And I'm gonna leave the link to the Discord in the description of this video, so you already know, bro. Hit that shit, join it. Let's keep the conversation going. March 26th, mark your calendars. You already know, bro. Thing goes Invincible. This is our year, bro. Y'all have a good one, man. Peace.